All right, y'all. We are live. We are live. What's going on? It's been a long time. We'll see if we get a few guys on here. If you're here, drop a comment in the chat. Say what up. I'm gonna try to get the boys buzzing. Brace the bait, I would come up with some theme music, but they probably just take the sound off of the video, so I'm not gonna do that. Let me see some people in here. Where are we at? I don't got anyone on. There we go. We got one. I wish I said who it was. Participants. Oh, just me. Top fans. Who's going to be the top fan? I can see the top fans. Shane is the one begging me to go live. Where are you at, Shane? All right, 30 more seconds. We're going to get going and stop playing fucking tummy sticks. Get this show on the road. You guys want me to go reverse order or top to bottom? Like from first to last or last to first? What do you guys want? See if anybody comments. If not, I'm gonna have to make the decision for myself. Let's do the one. Oh, Shane's gonna be on in 5 minutes. Come on now. All right, we're gonna go from top to bottom. Actually, is what we're gonna do. So we got 6 tiers. Breaking down all the keepers in the league. Again, when I do this, I look at the team's current roster makeup. What they're gonna need in the draft. How are they positioned to go into draft day and get a really great team. So that's my keeper rankings, right? So like if you got like a million keepers, but they're all a bunch of mid guys, you're probably not at the top of the list. So again, it's your keepers, it's how your team is positioned, your budget, topper options kind of came into play to break down some close calls. So we got six tiers. We're gonna go from top to bottom, ranking from number 1 to number 16, and I'll let you know who is in each tier. All right, so number 1 this year, number 1 keeper is not Corey for once. It's actually your champion, your returning champion, Shane, comes into the year with the best keepers in the league. It was really close between him and I thought. Him and I were debating about it. I think it's a coin flip when you break it down, but he's keeping Chase Brown, Chase Brown for a good contract, Chuba Hubbard, Puka Nacua, Ladd McConkey, Calvin Ridley. And when you look at the contracts of all these boys, let me just pull them up right here. It really, right there. So Chuba's 11, Chase Brown is 9, Puka's 10, Ladd McConkey's 14, Calvin Ridley's 18, Cameron Dicker's $1, Ray Davis for $5, Malik Washington for $1. Total 69. So he's got $11 of extra play there going into the draft. Brown and Hubbard are both arguably going to be top 16 running back. Not arguably, they should be top 16 running backs this year. Right now, they're both projected for 13.6 week one. Puka and Ladd McConkey should both be top 12 wide receivers. And then Calvin Ridley should be, with a new quarterback, he could bust into that top 16, but definitely in that second group of 17 to 32 for a wide receiver too. So Shane's got some excellent keepers coming into the year. He's going to need to get a quarterback on draft day, a tight end, a flex, and a defense. And then, he's got Ray Davis and Malik Washington on his bench. So he only has to go and get 4 bench guys and 4 starters. So Shane's in a position to do some big time damage on draft day and get whatever he wants in terms of quarterback, tight end, flex, defense. So yeah, good job by Shane, really setting himself up well heading into draft day. Let's see here. Pull that to there. All right, and then so then we move on to my team. Like I said, I think it was close between Shane and I. I gave him the edge. One reason why is because I don't want to hear people bitching that I'm a homer. That's definitely one of the main reasons. But right, he's got two stud running backs. I have one. So you look at my team. I got Brock Purdy for 7, Bucky Irving for 4. Shout out Tim, thank you. Brian Thomas Jr. I got him for 13. Tay Adams for 37. Brock Bowers for 8. Roshan Johnson for 10, for a total of 79. I still got Devontae Smith, Najee Harris is topper options. So yeah, I got $121 to go get a running back and a wide receiver. Debo is a topper option as well. So yeah, I go into the season right now with 2 wide receiver ones, arguably top 12 guys, potentially top 10. Bucky Irving's a top 10 running back. Brock Purdy is a top 10 quarterback in my mind. Roshan Johnson, I think, is a question mark. Is he going to assume this David Montgomery or Jamal Williams role? If he does, obviously he's going to be an excellent flex. Brock Bowers puts up wide receiver numbers in the tight end position, so he's an absolute stud. But I gave Shane the edge. He's got 3 wide receivers. I only have 2. He's got 2 running backs, an RB1, RB2. I have an RB1 and a flex. So, Shane gets the edge there. So that's the top tier. Tier number 1, it's clear cut. Tier number 1 is Shane, and then 2 is me. That's tier 1. Don't think it's close. Moving on to tier number 2 is the top of tier number 2 is Tom. Tom is number 2 here. And you look at his keepers, he's got some guys too, good prices. Let me see if I can pull him up here. There he is right there. So Tom's got Michael Penix. It's funny. Several months ago, nobody wanted Michael Penix for $1. And then, I was trying to make some trades and it was like, yo, it's too bad you don't have Penix anymore. I'd want him. I was like, yeah, now you want him because that's the difference between winners and losers is the winners do their preparation early on in the offseason and you losers, you guys don't start doing nothing until a month before the draft. So, yeah. Anyways, Tom's keeping Penix for $1, Tank Bigsby for $1, Jordan Mason for $1, the newly paid Garrett Wilson for 21, Josh Downs for 9, Nico Collins for $10, and Jalen Coper for $1. Got Josh Jacobs as a topper option. So, Tom's got 3 excellent wide receivers in my mind. I know Downs has Daniel Jones as a quarterback. Josh Downs is a fantastic wide receiver 3. Nico and Garrett. Nico's a stud wide receiver 1. Garrett Wilson is a great wide receiver 2. Bigsby and Mason are both kind of coin flips. It's especially in Jacksonville, who's going to be the dog there? Nobody knows. Jordan Mason, Aaron Jones is getting up there in age. He gets injured every year. Jordan Mason's going to get touches. So he's a flex play for me right now. And then Penix has a tremendous amount of upside. If you look back at his game log last year, he started the last 3 games of the year. He got better every game. 6 points, 13 points, 32 points. He obviously has a rocket arm. He's still a lottery ticket. I still think, he's projected for 305 fantasy points, which is an excellent season. They're projecting him for 3,900 yards, 23 tutties, 13 picks, and then 3 rushing touchdowns. So Tom still might want to come away from the draft with a starting quarterback. And again, like his running backs are flexes / question mark, probably starting on the bench type guys. So Tom's in a good spot on draft day. That's why he's number 1 in our second tier, number 3 overall. We'll move on to our 4th overall keepers, and that's going to be Dan. This is just setting Dan up for that C- on draft day for him to have a bad draft, even though he's got good keepers. It's a lock of the century probably. So Dan comes in. Dan's got some real nice keepers. Let's pull him up here. Where are they at? There they are. So Dan's going to keep Bryce Young for $1, Kyren Williams for 17, Tyrone Tracy for 7, JSN for 25, Jaden Reed for 9, Will Lutz for 1, and Denver's defense for 1. So that's 7 guys for $61. Obviously, Kyren is really good. Had a great year last year before. There's some concerns there because of the guy they drafted coming into the year. And obviously Corum last year, and Kyren Williams is due for a contract. They haven't given it to him. So are they going to kind of start changing the guard this year or not? We'll see. The Rams typically do that. Tyrone Tracy for 7. They draft Cam Skattebo. Tyrone Tracy had fumbling issues last year. Dayball is in a must-win situation. So if Tyrone Tracy continues to fumble, he's going to lose his job. But right now, I love Tyrone Tracy. JSN for 25 is great. I don't think he's going to be a top 10 wide receiver. It's going to be a run-heavy offense, new quarterback, new system, new scheme. They lose DK. They bring in Cooper Kupp, who's the same type of player as JSN. So really hard to see him finishing in the top 10 this year, but obviously still really going to keep $25. Jaden Reed, I think he stinks. What? What, bud? No, because it's not that hot out. Maybe Mom will take you over there tomorrow because Dad won't be home. So Jaden Reed, he stinks. They drafted Matthew Golden and Savion Williams. So they got like 80 receivers there. Jaden Reed is a wide receiver 3 at best. Will Lutz for $1, Denver's defense for $1. Denver's defense is great. Will Lutz is inconsistent, but it's a kicker. It's $1. Who cares? And then Bryce Young. I think Bryce Young is he finished the season really strong. If we look at him, week 16, 17, 18, he went 31 points, 21 points, 42 points. They drafted a quarterback, or they drafted a receiver in the first round. Their offensive line is good, so I think Bryce Young is going to be a good starting quarterback. So Dan comes in at number 4. So tier 2 is number 3, Tom, and number 4, Dan. So that's the end of tier 2. Just 2 teams in tier 2. And then I think there's a clear separation. And then this might come as a surprise to y'all, but number 5 overall is going to be Pizzo. So Pizzo probably don't even realize it. Where is he at? There he is. So Pizzo's got some good keepers. He's got Drake May for $1. He's got Devon Achane for 18. So we got Brian Robinson for 30, Drake May for $1, Devon Achane for 18, Rashad Bateman for 13, Zach Ertz, Hunter Henry for $1, Adam Thielen for 4, Commanders defense for $1. CeeDee Lamb is a topper option. So I like his team. He's got 2 running backs. He's got an absolute stud running back. He's got a really good running back too. He's got Drake May and an ascending offense and ascending talent. So he's got Rashad Bateman, who people forget. Rashad Bateman had 9 tutties last year, 756 yards. So you'd like to see that creep up, but it's still a wide receiver 3. Adam Thielen, again, he's a wide receiver flex type of guy. We'll see if he gets traded now that they've got a million receivers there. Hunter Henry, Zach Ertz for $1. Zach Ertz had a solid season for a tight end. So did Hunter Henry. He's a nice safety valve for the young quarterback there. So, Pizzo, there's an argument to be made that, maybe Pizzo could be a little bit higher because he's got 2 running backs. And there's going to be a premium, there's going to be a premium on a lot of guys. Yes, there's a lot of running backs back in the draft. But you look at receivers, most of these guys are accounted for. Tanner's going to top Chase. Mike is going to top Jetta. And then it's like, who is the next top wide receiver available? It's a big fall off. So I think CeeDee Lamb is probably that guy. And guess what? Pizzo's got him, CeeDee Lamb. So, CeeDee Lamb's out there on draft day. Pizzo's probably going to top him. So now you're looking at a team that's got Drake May, Brian Robinson, Devon Achane, CeeDee Lamb. That's a really, really, really good start to start off the season. So Pizzo's in really good shape to fuck it up. So that's the start of Tier 3. The next team we have in Tier 3 is going to be Mason. Mason got busy so far this offseason. He went from having absolutely nothing to having something. So kudos to you, Mason, for getting something out of this offseason. What, bud? Crocodile slippers? The green ones? I don't know, but your bluey ones are down here somewhere. So he's got JJ McCarthy for $1. Xavier Worthy. Let me pull these up. Xavier Worthy for 23. Isaiah Pacheco for 23. Jameson Williams for 13. TJ Hawkinson for 4. Chase McLaughlin for 1. Seahawks defense for 1. Total $66. So, Mason still needs a wide receiver 1 and a running back 1. And he'll need a flex. Pacheco, there's question marks around a lot of these guys. Like I said in the chat yesterday, his team is the rocket ship. Does it make it to outer space or does it explode before it even gets in the air upon takeoff? Because you got JJ McCarthy, he's a rookie. You expect him to be good, but you don't know. You got Xavier Worthy, who, even though Rashee Rice is going to get suspended, you look at the route tree that he ran last year when Rashee Rice was out, and he is not the guy running those routes. Xavier Worthy did miss a bunch of deep balls. Actually, Patrick Mahomes has been the least accurate deep ball passer in the league over the last 3 seasons. So, again, Xavier Worthy is truly a guy that is boom or bust. If you ask me, you look at his stats last year, he got hot there at the end on some end arounds and some big screen plays. But truly boom or bust. And the same goes for Jameson Williams. I know Shane has the stat probably ready on hand, but there was games where Jameson Williams won you the game, and if there's games where he didn't win you the game. We're talking less than 7 points, which happened 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times he had less than 7. On 2 of those times, he had less than 1. 2 of that 7 was less than 1. So again, he never had. The only time he had more than 5 catches in the game was Week 18 against Minnesota. He had 6 catches for 34 yards. So this is a guy. He only had double-digit targets once in a game. He is a guy that has to have the big catch for a touchdown in order to get you the game that you're looking for. TJ Hawkinson, he's really good. He gets hurt a lot. But even for his, last year he's coming off torn ACL. He only had one double-digit game last year. As a matter of fact, he only had one game over 7 points. So we'll see how he does. Isaiah Pacheco is another one. He runs so hard, but he always gets hurt because he runs so hard. And last year we saw him at the end of the season and the playoffs kind of fade away, and Kareem Hunt was getting carries. Now this year they bring back Kareem Hunt. They sign Elijah Mitchell. So he's kind of a coin flip. He's maybe more of a flex than an RB2. He's a guy I would trust more in the flex than a running back 2 position. So maybe Mason has to go on and draft 2 running backs. Seahawks defense, whatever. I think you match up play them. And then Chase McLaughlin, kicker, he was pretty solid last year. And then he's got some topper options. Breece Hall, I assume it will be a guy that he targets and probably goes and gets. I don't know about Cooper Kupp or Jalen Hurts being guys he goes after on draft day. So, again, really good job by Mason from where the offseason started, because his team was hot garbage in terms of keepers coming into the year. So tier 3 is going to be Pizzo at number 5 overall, and number 6 overall is Mason. So then we move into tier 4. This is our most crowded tier here. We've got 5 teams in this one. This is just a bunch of teams. Excuse me. Got a lot of holes to fill. And, they're keeping some more expensive guys. So they got more things to do on draft day. So starting off with Matt is going to be the top of this tier. We had to bump Matt down a little bit because of the Rashee Rice news. Obviously, nothing has been announced, but I read today, the Chiefs are preparing for 3 games. He could get 4, but it sounds like 3 is what everyone is expecting. My thing for Matt is with the amount of work he has to do on draft day and Rashee Rice missing those divisional games, if Matt's right now, Shane is the clear favorite to win that division. That means he's going to have to go out and win a wild card. So he's got Kyler for 11, Ken Walker for 31, who's nursing an injury already. Rashee Rice is 15. You still keep him. Rome Odunze for 17, Jonnu Smith for $1, Darren Waller for $1, Kaime Fairbairn for $1. Who knows? Maybe he runs Darren Waller at his flex and Jonnu Smith at tight end. I don't know. I think they're both bottom. They're startable tight ends, but not anyone that it's like you're getting excited about. Rome Odunze, lots of question marks on how that offense is going to look this year. He's obviously a breakout candidate with Ben Johnson, and obviously DJ Moore is still there. They draft Colston Loveland. They still got a lot of guys there, so who knows with him. Ken Walker always gets hurt, so another one where it's like, okay, he's gonna have to spend a good chunk on, not a good chunk, but respectable amount of money on Charbonnet. Kyler Murray is a guy who's not. He didn't really run that much last year. I think he wants to run more this year. He's a low-end QB1. Definitely some games last year where he could have screwed you. We're looking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games less than 20 points. And 1, 2, 3 of those games were 10 or less. So, this inconsistency can kill you. He is keeping Tua as well. But yeah, Matt's got solid keepers. Loser Rashee kind of stinks because now he's going to have to draft 2 good receivers. He's got A.J. Brown as a topper option. He's going to have to draft a running back and a flex, or he goes with the 2 tight end approach to start the year until he gets Rashee back. So yeah, just some work to be done. And again, like I said, it kind of puts him behind the eight ball, having to start off his divisional games without his best receiver. Um, ideally you start 2-1. Keeps you in the hunt. You assume Shane's going to go 3-0 in the division. No offense to you other guys. He's just got a wagon of a team before draft days even hit. So hopefully Matt can go 2-1 in those 3 games. After Matt, we got Joe. Let's find Joe's team. So Joe, pull up his keepers here. There they are. Jordan Love for 9, Kareem Hunt for 6, Amon-Ra St. Brown for 46, Judy for 7, Pearsall for 4, Leggett for 6, Tucker Kraft for $1. A total of 79. He's got some top. He's got Alvin Kamara as a topper option. Jalen Wright is a topper option. Really like his receiver core. He doesn't have to bid on a receiver on draft day. He's got his receivers. He's got Amon-Ra St. Brown, who's a certified stud. Jerry Jeudy had an incredible year last year. And then Ricky Pearsall, who has an excellent opportunity. He finished the year really strong. He finished the year on back-to-back games. He went 22 points and 13 points. So I really think he's, for him to be his wide receiver 3, that's excellent. Tucker Kraft is great. Jordan Love is okay at quarterback. Another one, last year he didn't even throw for 3,400 yards. I know he got banged up, missed a game. Did he even miss a game? No. Yeah, he missed 2 games. So, I think he didn't have as many sub-20 games as Kyler. Obviously, he plays outside, so those games late in the year might be a little bit rougher. Kareem Hunt will just be a bench guy. There's no way Joey can feel comfortable putting Kareem Hunt in at RB2. I think he's fine putting Leggett or Kareem Hunt at flex on draft day and rocking out with paying for 2 running backs and then getting the bench. So Joey's in a decent spot. So yeah. Next up, we got Tanner. Tanner I don't think Tanner knows what he wants to do. I think we know what he's going to do, but you can't be so sure with him. Tanner says so and so wants to do a deal. It's really not that person wants to do a deal. It's Tanner came up with an idea that he wants to do this deal, but that other person, 98% of the times, does not want to do the deal. So Tanner's going to keep David Montgomery for 29, Braylon Allen for 5, Keaton Mitchell for $1, George Pickens for 28, Juwan Jennings for $1, Shea Gakwanaku for $1, Jacoby Myers for 10, and Jermaine Burton for 2. Puts up at $77. So, how does this team look? Obviously, he's got Jamar Chase as his topper. If everyone was betting, they would say Tanner's going to draft him. Draft him back. He could top him, or just draft him outright. But as far as his keeper goes, he's got Pickens, Jennings, Myers. I think these are all wide receiver 2s. Myers maybe a wide receiver 3. But I think the rest of them, especially with Jennings, since Ayuk is out, definitely could slide into that wide receiver 2. George Pickens, again, 900 yards last year, 3 touchdowns. He's projected for 1,000 yards and 7 touchdowns. He's a wide receiver 2, best case. Montgomery, I think has been solid. Always, obviously gets tons of touchdowns. He's an RB2. It'll be interesting to see how they utilize him with the new offensive coordinator. They want to get Gibbs on the field more. Montgomery is also 28, so we'll see. And Myers should have a good year. Geno Smith, Pete Carroll is a run first coach. Again, Myers is a guy that's probably going to go for 1,000 yards and and 5 touchdowns. So that's a wide receiver 3. There's a lot of mid on Tanner's team. Shea Gakunaku should take a step up. He was a favorite last year. Is a breakout candidate. Didn't happen. You got Cam Ward, who should be much better this year. I just don't know how it's hard to trust really much anybody in that offense outside of Calvin Ridley, and even he's kind of he should do it, but I'm sure there'll be some frustrations. But for Shane, it's his wide receiver 3, so we'll really give a shit. And then Jermaine Burton is his, and Keaton Mitchell is his dart throws on his bench. Braylon Allen, whatever. So that's where Tanner is, and then after Tanner, we've got Kevin. Also, anybody watching, feel free to hop in the chat and chirp, talk your shit if you want. Tell me why I'm wrong. Tell me why I'm right. After that, we get Kevin. Kevin doesn't have much for keepers. I don't know if he sent the screenshot in or not because he only has like 3 guys. Yeah, I think he just did it via text. So let's find Kevin. So Kevin. I don't know where Kevin's are. Did he post a picture? Oh, there they are. So Kevin's keeping James Conner for 44, Guerendo for 1, Drake London for 33, Jalen McMillan for 2. He could keep Lamar Jackson over Conner. But again, it still puts him in the same predicament. He's got a lot left to draft. Drake London for 33, love that. Jalen McMillan for 2 is whatever. Godwin will be back. Mike Evans is there. They went out and drafted 2 wide receivers in the draft. So I don't know how they really feel about McMillan. Guerendo for $1. You got to keep him for $1 in case CMC gets hurt. Then James Conner for 44. Dude's older, but he's consistent. You look at his numbers last year, even if he misses a couple games, which I don't know. I can't remember if he did miss any games last year. He didn't play week 18. He got injured week 17. But the dude was a stud. He had 1,100 yards, 8 touchdowns, 400 receiving yards, and a touchdown. So yeah, he's had a great. He's finished as a top 20 back in 4 straight seasons, top 15 in points per game every year. In each of those years, he is at 30 though, so probably be wise of Kevin to draft Trey Benson back. So that's Kevin. He falls there into that spot, and then after Kevin, this is the last team in this tier is Parker. He doesn't have a ton of keepers, but the keepers he does have are really good. Let's see, pull him up. So he's got. I gotta just delete Deontay's. Just delete him from this fucking thing. Got Russell Wilson for $1, Kendre Miller for 9, Terry McLaurin for 23, Malik Neighbors for 47, and then the Rams defense if he wants for $1. Or actually, let's see, 47, 23, 70. No, he can't keep the Rams defense because he got Russell Wilson. He's got some topper options with Marvin Harrison Jr., Mark Andrews, Dalton Kincaid, Tony Pollard, Brandon Aubrey, Rashad White, Eagles defense. Kendre Miller, obviously keeping him. You're hoping that, Kamara turns 30 this year, new coaching staff, new regime. And Kendrick's 23 years old, so it's possible they start to pass it over to him. He gets more touches. Possible Kamara gets hurt. Possible Kamara gets traded. He's got a horrible contract though. Terry McLaurin, he might get traded, so we'll see if where he ends up. But he's still a stud. Talent. Malik Neighbors is a guy that could finish in the top 5 this year. Wouldn't surprise anyone. So So, for Parker to have 2 wide receiver ones already locked up for that price, he's got to go out on draft day and get, a bunch of running backs and a quarterback and a tight end, but he's got his top 2 receivers locked down. He can go and draft a receiver for $5 or less and be okay at receiver. So that's the end of that tier. So tier 4 is 7 overall is Matt, 8 is Joe, 9 is Tanner, 10 is Kevin, and 11 is Parker. So moving on to our 5th tier. Got 4 teams in this tier. We're leading off with Tim. Tim is at the top of this tier. Listen, I don't mind Tim's keepers at all. It's a lot of mid. His mid is I think less than Tanner's mid. He's got some really good upside plays. Obviously, he's got Jaden Daniels, who's a stud. He could push for number 1 quarterback this year, potentially. He's $7. J.K. Dobbins at 17. Denver signs him, give him a nice little contract. I'm sure he's going to have a decent role in a good offense. He'll be a nice flex, hopefully. And he might start the year as a good RB2 option, but as they kind of transition over to the rookie, he might fall into more of a flex. Jared Goff for 4. I know he's got Daniels, but you got to keep Goff at 4. Teams will need a quarterback. He'll have some trade ammo. Kansas City's defense for 2. Darnell Mooney for 12. He had a good season last year. Did he end up hitting 1,000 yards? Oh, he was so close. 8 yards away from 1,000 yards. He had 5 touchdowns. Kind of similar to Jacoby Myers. I think that's a fair comparison, and I think that passing game has more upside now that Penix is the full-time starter. Sam Laporta for 16. I think you expect him to have a bounce-back year. He started off rough. He finished pretty strong. Khalil Shakir for $8. He's another guy, like a wide receiver 3. It really depends on how, if Keon Coleman takes that next step, but they really operate in different roles, but they really like Shakir there. I like him as a wide receiver 3. He's got Tyjae Spears at $10. He's an interesting one. Obviously, there was a ton of hype around him last year. He got hurt at the end of the year. He started playing more. He had 3 straight double-digit games. He went for, he's really involved in the passing game. Went for 21 points, 19 points, 10 points, and then didn't play week 18. So there's possibility for him to pop off. But you got to keep him at 10. Topper option wise, he's got Javonte, and I guess Austin Eckler, who are solid topper options for him. But again, he's got a good foundation to start. He's got some work to do. He's got 3 guys that could fit into the flex, so he really needs to get a wide receiver 1 and a wide receiver 2 and an RB1 for sure. Probably 2 running backs, but he's in a decent spot, I would say. After Tim, we got Nick. I had to bump Nick down because of the pending suspension for Jordan Addison. For Nick, he's got Caleb Williams at quarterback. Let's pick out his team. He got Caleb Williams for 6, Mike Evans for 34, Jordan Addison for 14, Trey McBride for 18, Baltimore's defense for 1, Boswell for 1, Rashid Shaheed for 3, Justice Hill for $1, and Estime for $1. So, and he's got Derrick Henry as a topper option. He went all out to ensure that essentially he is drafting Derrick Henry on draft day. Jordan Addison projected for 0 right now. He pled guilty. It was a lesser charge, but he pled guilty, which is an automatic 3-game suspension. It's the baseline. He could get more. However, it's definitely for sure 3. Again, he's in Shane. Same thing with Matt. He's in Shane's division. You got to hope that you can come out of those first 3 weeks going 2-1. So he's in a tough spot because now he needs to draft. Like, okay, if he puts Rashid Shaheed in it, which is he's got a who even is their quarterback? Tyler Shaw, or Brandon Cooks got signed there too. Chris Olave's back. So I have no idea about Shaheed. So sure, maybe you put him in wide receiver 3. So Nick's gonna have to draft a wide receiver 2 to start the year. He's got to draft two running backs. He's gonna have to draft a flex because Estime's role is gone now that Dobbins is there. Trey McBride's a stud tight end, but again, he's got to go 2 running backs. He should go 2 wide receivers, but at bare minimum, he's got to go 1. Now that Addison's suspended, got to go flex. It's just a lot of work to do. So that's why Nick falls into that spot. After Nick, we got Mike. Mike's keeper is very easy. Mike made one move this offseason. It was a good move. Don't get me wrong. I like Brenton Strange for $1. I like the upside there. We saw what Liam Cohen did with Cade Otton last year in that Tampa offense. He likes the tight ends. He's going to keep Bo Nix for $3, Jahmyr Gibbs for $76, Brenton Strange for $1, and that puts him at 76. That puts him at 80 on the dot. The one thing about Mike's team is, let's think about Gibbs for a second. Gibbs is a $76 player. I mean, Saquon Barkley $76. Last year I think Bijan went for 85. Derrick Henry went for the high 70s. Jahmyr Gibbs is appropriately priced. If Mike wanted to, he could throw Gibbs back in the draft and get him back for about the same price, in my opinion, and go after some other guys. Now, rumor has it that Mike didn't want to trade for any toppers. Well, everybody was offering him for some guys to keep and give him topper options. Mike is, according to my sources, Mike is dead set on topping Justin Jefferson. So Mike is right now willing to commit 50% of his cap to two guys. Now, that's an interesting strategy. Bo Nix, Gibbs, Jefferson, in theory, right now, if you combined them, it's 23 and 16 is 39. Plus Jefferson is 13. That's 52. That's 52 points with 3 guys. He's got $50 left. Brenton Strange is 5. That puts him to 60. Defense kicker, I'll say 8 and 8. 16. I don't know. Mike, I'm sure Mike will be calling out every rookie running back every rookie that there is, expecting to get him for $1. They're all going to go for way more than that. He's going to be pissed off. So yeah, that's Mike's team again, but he's got a really good quarterback to keep. He's not last. He's got a really good quarterback to keep, a really good running back to keep. I think he's got a high upside tight end to keep, but he's got a ton of work to do on draft day. So after Mike is Logan, who is in a similar situation. You can compare Logan's team and Mike's team, and I'll tell you the reason why Mike is over him by 1, and it's simple as the quarterback. The running backs, you got Gibbs versus Barkley. Who's calling me? We're gonna let that one go. Gibbs versus Barkley. You're taking Barkley, obviously, but then Bo Nix versus Sam Darnold. I'm taking Bo Nix all day, every day. Then you got the tight ends. You got Isaiah Likely versus Brenton Strange. Taking Isaiah Likely. I like his upside a lot more. I know Logan has Jake Bates, but again, it's just a kicker. Mike is going to draft a kicker. So, Mike's got some topper options with, like James Cook. DJ Moore can't be kept at top, so he's not one. He could go back and get CJ Stroud in the draft. But again, Logan's got a lot of work to do. He's got to draft an RB2, got to draft 3 wide receivers, got to draft a flex. Just a lot of work to do on draft day. Got to draft well when you keep a guy at that. So that's the end of that tier 5. So tier 5 is, so we've got our 12th ranked team is Tim, 13 is Nick, 14 is Mike. 15 is Logan. And last but not least, in a tier of their own, is none other than Corey. In a tier of his own is Corey at the very bottom. Last, used to be in first for keepers. He's got Justin Herbert for 9, T. Higgins for 34, Zay Flowers for 21, Tyler Bass for $1. That's $66. So he's going to have $14 extra a cap going into draft day. Some of the trades he made this offseason allowed other teams to make more trades. You know what? He pulled a couple. I know he pulled the trigger on the Justin Herbert trade with Shane, which was Justin Herbert he traded the Ravens defense, who's $1 for Justin Herbert, which is okay, but it's like, well, you could have kept Baker Mayfield, who had more points than Josh Allen last year. He had Baker Mayfield had 465 fantasy points. He's projected this year for 389. He could have kept Baker Mayfield and then just kept the Ravens defense. 2 for the price of 1, essentially. This was the guy he acquired in the deal. He traded, he traded David Montgomery to be able to keep Zay Flowers. It's a $8 difference, but you're trading a running back 2 for a wide receiver 2 in Zay Flowers, maybe wide receiver 3. I mean, again, we talked about Jacoby Myers. We talked about, I forgot who the other receiver was. Zay Flowers had 1,059 yards, 4 touchdowns last year. That's a wide receiver 3, maybe 2, because we're a 16-team league. It's a run-first offense. He had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 single-digit games last year. You know what I mean? So I just questioned some of the moves. Tyler Bass, again, is a kicker. T. Higgins is good, always injured. The best ability is availability. Last year he missed, 3 games, 4 or 5. He missed 5 games last year. Obviously, he's an elite offense. Got Joe Burrow as quarterback. Jamar Chase drawing attention on the other side. But right now, T. Higgins is his wide receiver 1. And Zay Flowers is a wide receiver 2. And he's going to have to accept that on draft day. If he ends up paying up money to get a big wide receiver, it's going to fuck him at running back. He's going to have to go after some bums at running back because he really needs to pay a running back. And again, Justin Herbert's a fine quarterback in real life. He only had 3 picks last year. But, you look at his games in terms of games under 21, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Over 50% of his games are under 20 points, So that's why Corey comes in last at tier 6, all by himself. Tier 6, 16 is Corey. That's it. That's all I got for you. Hope you enjoyed the rankings and the tiers. Go ahead and chirp it up, chat it up in the group chat if you like them or not. Draft Sunday, August 24th, 10 a.m. sharp here in Elmira. Not sure yet where it's going to be. Waiting to find out if the one location is going to be open, if they can accommodate us. If not, we could do it at Logan's house, could do it at my house. Depending on how the heat is looking, would prefer to have it inside somewhere where it's nice and cool. Don't want to be outside sweating, having that heat force us into some bad decisions. So yeah, that's it. Maybe we'll make some more moves here. I think training camp is coming up very shortly. Maybe next week. I think we got our first game is the Hall of Fame game is the 31st. I mean, we're 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 days away from our first football game. We've almost made it, boys. Don't forget $200 is due to Kevin by draft day unless you prearrange something with me. So just shoot me a text now. Need some type of something to hold down your spot on draft day. So just let me know ahead of time. Communicate. Obviously, no problem as long as you're talking to me. Yeah, can't wait to see you all. Peace out. Yeah.